You're watching Metallica Mania, and I'm back with an Iron Maiden video. The new Iron Maiden album just came out, and I thought I would review it and compare it to their other ones, because that's what I usually do, which I will be taking a break from these rankings. This is the last one in a good while, so enjoy it while it's here. I can't really, I'm going to not have enough time to do these, so yeah. So, they have 17 albums now. They had 16. The new one's good. It definitely does not, I wouldn't say they ever had a bad album. Let's just say that I don't think any of the Iron Maiden albums are bad. So if any of them that you like are down at the bottom of the list, know that I don't dislike them at all. They have 17 albums. I have it out of 15 because there is 2 ties, and they are at the very top of the list. Number one and number 2. There's 4 of them, and there's 2 of them at number 1 and 2 of them at number 2, because I couldn't decide between number 1s and number 2s. So we'll start it out. Number 15, and my least favorite, is Virtual 11. Of course, most people's least favorite. It kind of felt like they were trying to create a Bruce album, create a Bruce Dickinson album with Blaze Bayley, which doesn't work. His vocals are different. This album would have been amazing with Bruce on it. The one before it was amazing with Blaze Bayley. But you know how people are with vocalists and change, they don't like it. So if something's different, they don't like it. So what I'm saying is people never gave X Factor a chance. That's why they did this album, probably, because nobody gave X Factor a chance. There's some good songs on here, like The Klansman, Angel and the Gambler. There's some good ones on here, Future Real. Then there's some really weird, dull ones like Educated Fool and Don't Look Into the Eyes of a Stranger. I think is good. Yeah, there's some songs that are just way too long, and it just feels like they're trying to create an 80s Maiden album with Bruce on it, but it's not Bruce on the album. It's someone that doesn't have that, what they need to create the other style. They went to a new style to coincide with him, but then, yeah, they tried to go back to the old style and keep Blaze Bayley on it, and it didn't work. It did not work. It's still a good album. I still enjoy it heavily. I still will listen to it here and there. I'll put these on the ground so I can put this over here. Number 14, No Prayers for the Dying. Yeah, that's kind of it's a pretty weak album. It's still a 9.1. The other one's the 9. The 9.1 still above average of most bands. Of what I discovered, that was average. This is a way above average, because when I used to do the yearly reviews, I used to listen to thousands of albums, and some of them were absolutely terrible. So this is way above average of metal. No Prayers for the Dying, Public Enema number 1 is that song. I don't like it at all. I can't listen to Public Enema number 1. No Prayer for the Dying, I think that one's kind of weak as well. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter kind of gets annoying after a while after hearing it 50 million times. So yeah, that's what I think of this album. The good ones on here are like Tail Gunner and Run Silent, Run Deep, and Mother Russia. Those are my 3 favorite ones on that album. Let's go to number 13, or a very underrated album, Final Frontier. I think this one's very underrated. A lot of people will put this and actually like call it like shit, but it's not. It's actually really good. There's good stuff on here, like Mother of Mercy. Coming Home is probably one of the best Iron Maiden songs they've ever done. It's awesome. It's an awesome Maiden song. The Talisman, that's a great song as well. When the Wild Wind Blows, it's just way too damn long and just doesn't do anything for the album. Isle of, what is it? I don't even know how to say that. It's got some weird spelling on here, but just to know, track number 6 is also one of the more fantastic songs. It's kind of where they were going to more of a longer album. So yeah, I don't consider In Between Curses like everybody else. I think they're good their way. That one gets a 9.3. The next one gets a 9.3 as well, which is Dance of Death. And holy shit, what the hell is up with this cover art? That is by far one of the worst. That's one of the, I don't like that artwork at all. But the songs are pretty good. Wildest Dreams, can do without. Rainmaker, awesome. No More Lies, awesome. Montague, I think it's called. That one's great. Dance of Death, that one's great. Gates of Tomorrow, New Frontier, Passchendaele. Passchendaele's the best one on here. Face in the Sand, Age of Innocence, and Journeyman. Amazing album. Just the drawback is the first song. That's the only one I dislike on the whole album. But because it's the first song and it's the introduction, it kind of like sets the pace for the whole album. It's like, it's a pace setter. The first song is a pace setter, and the new album has a pretty bad pace setter song at the front of it as well. But that song's good. I still like it, but it doesn't give the right impression to the listener. Number 11 is 9.5, which is Fear of the Dark. Be Quick or Be Dead. Let's say the problem here is Weekend Warrior. I can't stand that song at all. I cannot listen to it. I always skip it when I listen to Maiden. It's like one of the worst Maiden songs, and there'll be a controversial one on here next that I cannot stand the song on it. So that's why it's one of the classics. Just to tell you that. The Apparition, that song's good. Judas Be My Guide, best one on here. Be Quick or Be Dead, Here to Eternity, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Fear is the Key, Childhood's End. There's some great songs on here, and Fear of the Dark's on here. It's the last one with Bruce until Blaze Bayley took over, and then they created that absolute masterpiece, the one right after it. They created the absolute masterpiece, X Factor. Number 10. This is top 10, but this one's a 9.6. Power Slave. Back to the Village. That's the one that I don't like that song at all. I rank them through consistency. If I don't like a song on it, it's going down the list. Like the ones all at the above this, mostly like every single song on here. The new one, I'm spoiling it. I'm not gonna spoil it. Aces High, great classic song. 2 Minutes to Midnight, Lost for Words, Flash of the Blade, The Duelist, Black to the Village, absolute. I cannot stand the song. Power Slave and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Everything is good on it except Back to the Village. Back to the Village is my least favorite Maiden song ever. Just how the vocals are delivered, and the riffs are cool, but just how the vocals are delivered, I just don't like it. It kind of gives off a weird. It's been a thing since I was a kid, and I didn't like it. A kid listening to Iron Maiden, I didn't like that song when I was a kid either. Number 9, the new album. Number 9, this 9.8. There's a what song is it? I have to go through. Let's go through the tracks. Senjutzu, I think it's called. Yeah, this song kind of it's too slow to start the album. Like Book of Souls had From Eternity Will Fail, which was fucking fast and in your face, and just is the best one on that album. They started it off with it, and it kind of gave a kick in the ass to the album. This one kind of like was like, oh, it's a slow album. Then it goes fast. And it's like, what the fuck? Why would they do that? Yeah, it's a good song though. It has a good it gives you like a whole war feeling. It's pretty good. It's a good song. Stratego, I think it's called as well. That's a fun song as well. I like that one. The Writing on the Wall. And by the way, I didn't really look forward to this album at all. I was like, no. After all these years, I kind of got out of Iron Maiden for a while, but like, I've kind of gotten back into Iron Maiden with this new album. Writing on the Wall has cool riffing, cool solos. I like it. I've attempted it. Not successful at all. It's pretty hard to play. Lost in a Lost World. The vocal effects that are at the start of the song just makes the you can't even understand it with the vocal effects that they have on there. It's just so, the words just jumble, and it's just no. That's the only problem with this album, is that vocal thing that they do. The vocal effect just makes it so you can't really enjoy listening to the lyrics of the album. Otherwise, the song's good. Days of Future Past. That's a great song as well. All these songs are good. I like every single one of them. I'm kind of blanking out because I'm tired as I'm recording this at night, but The Time Machine, probably one of the back half of the song is just in your face and amazing. The first half is kind of like iffy to me, but I still like it. I think it's still good. And then we go to the 4 songs on the other disc that is just monsterly long songs. Darkest Hour, Death of the Celts. Death of the Celts is amazing. I think it's probably my favorite on here. Probably on the album. The second disc is better than the first disc by a long shot. The second disc is absolutely flawless. The Parchment is fucking good as well. Then it ends off with Hell on Earth. Killer Maiden, it's a Killer Maiden album. It's pretty good. But it falls not middle of the road, or yeah, probably middle of the road with all the ties that are at the top of the album, top of the list. Or no, it falls lower than the middle of the road. Number 8. Let's go into number 8, one that I know quite heavily. The self-title. The self-title 1980. Prowler, Sanctuary. Sanctuary's on here. I'll include Sanctuary. It's a little iffy. I should, but Remember Tomorrow. Amazing. This is with Deano on vocals. Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Iced Earth. Iced Earth did a cover of Transylvania. Strange World, Charlotte the Harlot. Charlotte the Harlot's probably my favorite one. Iron Maiden, the title track of the band. Yeah, this album sounds a little bit like, it has a little bit of a punk feel to it, which is not a bad thing. Number 7, Peace of Mind. Has stuff like Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Die With Your Boots On, The Trooper, of course, the classic The Trooper. Still Life, Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, and To Tame a Land. To Tame a Land. Awesome stuff on this album. It's got that classic Iron Maiden sound to it, the 80s sound. It's way better than Power Slave, as I showed. I personally think it's better than Power Slave. Not as good as Number, not as good as the one before Number. Yeah, the best ones on here are Flight of Icarus and Sun and Steel. So the two best ones on here. The Trooper's kind of overplayed, in my opinion. I'm trying to go fast because I don't know how much camera space I got, so bear with me. Number 6, Killers. The album I have on my back patch, on my battle vest. I still have it on the battle vest. I kind of want to change it, though, to something else. Idols of March, Wrathchild, awesome song. Murders in the Rue Morgue, Another Life, Genghis Khan, Innocent Exile, Killers, Prodigal Son, Purgatory, Twilight Zone, and Drifter. Amazing album. Has that starting to sound like Maiden, sound the gallops, and the Killers is probably the first one that I've heard a really good gallop on. It's the first gallopy song that they made. And they kind of went away with the gallop after the Book of Souls, after the If Eternity. Murders in the Rue Morgue and Wrathchild are classics. Move into the next one. Number 5, or top 5, The Book of Souls, of course. I was just getting into Maiden at the time of this album, and it was the first big exposure I had to Iron Maiden was this album. And I just remember Eternity Shed a Fail just hooking me immediately. And then Speed of Light is a little bit iffy for me. I like the song. It's probably their weakest one on here. The Great Unknown's good. The Red and the Black is fantastic. Just awesome long songs. When the River Runs Deep, The Book of Souls, just awesome song there. Death or Glory, Climb Like a Monkey, Out of Hell. Love that part. Shadows of the Valley, Tears of a Clown, The Man of Sorrows, and Empire of the Clouds. A lot of people don't like Empire, but I'm one of them that do. I'm one of them that really like Empire of the Clouds. It's just a fantastic long song. As you could tell, I'm kind of a fan of the longer tracks from Iron Maiden. And number 4, Number of the Beast. The one that started it all with Bruce Dickinson. Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, Gangland, Total Eclipse, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. Total Eclipse is kind of a underrated track, which I would kind of put it as one of the best ones on here. Run to the Hills is way too overplayed. The radio stations need to stop playing that song for like maybe a few years. Just have a thing of don't play this song, please. Invaders, play Invaders instead, seriously. Children of the Damned, great. My favorite is probably The Prisoner. Prisoner or Hallowed Be Thy Name. Gangland is also really good. It's just the classic Iron Maiden album. It's what everybody gets into Iron Maiden. And here's where the controversy comes in. Yeah, I like a Blaze Bayley album. I like it. It's one of my favorites. X Factor. I told you it was underrated. The 10 out of 10 started with the self-title at number 8, so just to tell you that, keep track. Yeah, this fucking album is crazy. The Edge of Darkness. The Edge of Darkness is a fucking fantastic song. Look for the Truth, The Aftermath, Fortunes of War, Man on the Edge, Sign of the Cross, and Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies absolutely awesome. I read the book, and it just is an amazing song. You could tell why they wrote the song. It's about the book. That's absolutely awesome. Blood on the World's Hands, 2 a.m. and Unbeliever. Unbeliever, isn't that one of those big long ass tracks? It's a 70-minute. It's a 70-minute masterpiece of a Maiden album. It's got a whole different sound. They never made this sound again, but with Blaze Bayley on vocals, with that sound, that really dark sound and gloomy sound, it's just amazing. Now it's time for the two ties. The number 2 is the two 80s albums, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son and Somewhere in Time. Yeah, the tracks are stacked. The tracks are absolutely stacked. You got Caught Somewhere in Time on this album, and Child on 8 songs, and all of them compare to each other, and they're just amazing. My favorite one on Somewhere in Time is probably Alexander the Great. This one, probably Moonchild or Seventh Son. The Clairvoyant is awesome. Here, the Clairvoyant is good on this one. And Only the Good Die Young. Just as amazing gallops and just energy out the ass. That brings us to number 1, or the 2 that I think that I couldn't decide between for being the best 2 Maiden albums, which is Brave New World and A Matter of Life and Death. The two 2000 and 2006. It's kind of like the new sound that they were doing perfected. This is the comeback album with Bruce Dickinson on vocals. It's got stuff like The Wicker Man, Ghost and the Navigator, Brave New World. Brave New World is an amazing track. Blood Brothers, The Mercenary, Dream of Mirrors, The Fallen Angel, Nomad, Out of the Silent Planet, and The Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Just absolutely amazing all the way through. I enjoy every single track on this album. So is with Matter of Life and Death. Let's go through these different world. These colors don't run. Burden than 1,000 Suns. 8 minutes and 44 seconds. The Pilgrim is awesome as well. The Longest Day. Out of the Shadows, Reincarnation of Benjamin Bree, For the Greater Good of God, a 9-minute masterpiece. Lord of Light, and The Legacy, which is a 9-minute masterpiece. These albums are stacked with long songs, and I think they all have 10 tracks, and all those tracks, yeah, all those songs are over 4 minutes mostly. If there's one that I said was over 4 minutes, it wasn't over 4 minutes. Please correct me, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of the longer Maiden songs. Well, like, let's say if the new album was 4 songs and 4 songs, long songs, and just all long songs over like 7 minutes each. That's what I think of the new Maiden album. I think it's a killer record. I think it's killer. It's got some good songs on there. It's got a little bit of an iffy part that I don't really like too much, but so yeah, that's how I rank Iron Maiden. Hope you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys didn't get too mad that I get a lot of people in some people in the comment section that didn't like the Kiss ranking because I put Crazy Nights up too high. But yeah, this is just my opinion. This is just the albums that I enjoy by Iron Maiden, which is all of them. I enjoy all of the Iron Maiden albums. There's not a bad one that they've done, including the new one. So, see you guys in the next video. The next one will be a Dropkick Murphys review for the new Dropkick Murphys record that just came out. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. And I'm taking a break from ranking.